Amazing. Every time I produce a video which mentions Elon Musk, I get accused of being a fanboy. So I need to address that one right now. I am not. There's an awful lot of people out there think he's a tosser. They might believe he's an idiot, a plonker. They believe he's putting people off buying his cars. He opens his mouth when he should have it firmly shut. He's also a hypocrite. He's had massive delusions of grandeur. And because he was born in South Africa, so not eligible to become president of the USA, he probably has an almost megalomaniac ambition to be the Grand King or Supreme Ruler of Mars, his own planet. I don't care. You see, I don't look at Elon Musk. What I am, I'm a Tesla fanboy. I look at the company. Greetings, Titans. I'm Dave. This is Dave Takes It On. Right, just going to calm down for a minute. For this video, right now, I want you to set in your mind this scenario. You're living in your own house, which you own. You have no mortgage. You also have enough cash in the bank to be able to buy your next dream home and still not need a mortgage and still have enough left in the bank for all your holidays, speedboats and anything else you want. You got that? Keep that in your mind. So let's get on with the video. Well, after a spell as a helicopter pilot in the Royal Navy, when I first left school, I drifted into sales and remained there successfully for over 3 decades. Amongst the key secrets I learned, 2 things stood out that made me the success that I was in my sales career and still drives my life to this day. First, pardon any sales jargon here, but if you stop learning, you stop earning. Anyone who believes themselves to be the very best they can ever be is already on the point and the path of failure. Products change, societies change, economies change, beliefs change, morals change. Life is a constant state of change, and if you don't change with it, you get left behind. There's another sales slogan for you. There are 3 types of people in this world: those that make things happen, those that let things happen, and those that wonder what the f did just happen. If you want something that is currently out of your reach, you need to change something to be able to get it within reach. So our lives and careers are in a constant state of change. Well, second, I learned if you're doing something, anything in business, your career, even your life, make sure there's something in it for you. See, I used to drive 2 hours to a weekly sales meeting. In Falmouth in Cornwall to Exeter in Devon, just over 100 miles, 2 hours. Others drove further and obviously had 2 hours drive back. And for me and others, it was the best part of a whole day lost. It was compulsory. So I set out to learn something at every meeting that would improve my sales performance and thus my income and my life. Sometimes I might learn a few things, but I always search for that one key thing, that one thing alone that made that journey and the lost day worthwhile. And I continue that now into, I was going to say my retirement, I'm semi-retired. Always learn something to improve your life. Always try something new, like this channel. We only started this last year and we have 12,000 subscribers and over 3 million views. Amazing. Anyway, as a Tesla owner and a potential new Tesla buyer in the next year or 2 and a Tesla investor, I own Tesla shares, when I watched Tesla report their Q3 earnings this year, a couple of days ago, I was investing a lot of my time, nearly 2 hours long in total, plus a lot of follow-up research. So I was searching for that one single thing from that report that made it all worthwhile. I failed dismally. For the first time, I found so many really deep and profound things in that Tesla Q3 financial report. I was spoiled for choice, and I've actually not stopped looking. There's so much more to uncover in that report. Don't forget, Elon is not Tesla. Look at Tesla, it's a company. And then look at what the report gave as their findings. I'm going to dive into finances a bit later, not very deep, but we're going to have a look at it. But now I'm going to look at pure achievements. This is not what Elon says he's going to do, what he might do, what models he's going to launch. This is what Tesla has done. So way back in 2023, he announced in 2024 it's going to be a really tough year for everyone, not just him, for the industry, and so it's proved to be. We've had inflation, interest rates, fuel costs rising, cost of living. It's all combined to become the perfect storm. It's been a bad year for most industries and most companies. But while others are still reeling, wondering what the F just did happen, Tesla in this report is now listing what it has achieved, already achieved, and what future ventures it has already started, already embarked on. So Fremont just announced its 7 millionth EV. Shanghai, its 3 millionth. This is from an upstart EV company that all the experts predicted, absolutely no chance against legacy auto. Those so-called experts, like Legacy Auto, like Ford, General Motors, Stellantis, they're struggling to get anywhere near 100,000 EV sales in a year. And a few of the better ones, Mercedes, they're just about 200,000 and going downhill. Tesla's on track next year for around 3 million and growing. Tesla already makes more EVs in a month than Ford and General Motors combined in a year. Yeah, I know Tesla will be wiped off the face of the earth once the legacy get going, but they've actually been getting going since 2017. When are they going to start? And Tesla's building new gigafactories to cater for planned future demand at a time when Ford, General Motors, VW, Toyota, Fiat, long list of others are actually shutting them down due to falling or zero demand. Talk about chalk and cheese. Tesla this year is on track for a record year in both production and sales. And don't forget, Tesla only sells to actual paying end-user customers, not like Legacy Auto, who merely transfer them to their dealers, then call it a sale, even though that car can then sit unsold in the dealers for months, sometimes even years these days. At a time when Ford is reported to be making a loss of around $50,000 per EV sold, and all the others are too scared to reveal publicly how much they do actually lose, Tesla makes a profit on each and every car it sells. Even the Cybertruck, this launched last year. Everyone said it was a rubbish car, would never sell. It's already breaking into profit in 2024. Now, admittedly, it's only the Founders Edition. It's priced at over £100,000, but that in itself is a major success. Pickup trucks in America priced, or should I say overpriced, at $100,000, like Ford F-150, Ram, Hummer, Jeep. They're sitting in dealer lots for years, piling up until they've got no more space. Manufacturers are now having to resort to paying their dealers bonuses to take more. They can't have any space left in the factory. Tesla's no such stock. It is selling all it can make, and sales are increasing in 2024. Tesla's the only EV maker who makes a profit from building and selling EVs. Europe, China, America, now they're all bleeding money at a frightening, unsustainable rate. And while others see their COGS, this is the cost of goods sold, rising, Tesla reports quarter after quarter massive drops in the cost of their goods. With this quarter, their cost has fallen to the lowest level ever. It is making its EVs today cheaper than it has ever made them before. Lowering costs, unfortunately, is a double-edged sword for the early adopters, that includes me, because as the price of the new, much better models drop, so their, or in my case, my used car value also crashes. But, and I will be making a video on this fairly shortly, it's nothing new. Merely an almost exact mirror image of our regular housing bust or booms. Remember back in the 70s, 80s and 90s when the price of new houses rocketed to such an extent that we could earn more from the increase in our house price each year than from our full-time wages. The reverse was also true when house prices crashed, as they did with a monotonous regularity. And we entered negative equity. Our outstanding mortgage was suddenly far greater than what the house could possibly sell for. Oh, but we do have such short memories, don't we? Well, many of us, me included, bought our EVs at the peak of the market, and we've seen our used values crash. Obviously, this does not in any way affect those who lease, because they simply hand their EVs back at the end and they don't care a jot if it's worth £35,000 or 35 quid. But we've also seen the price of the new models we'll be buying or leasing next either crash or stay the same, but offer a fantastic amount more for the same money. Again, we live through this constantly with things like computers and smartphones. Decent computer or smartphone, it costs you well over £1,000. Have a look at the latest prices. Even bottom of the range models, smartphones, gaming PCs, they're well over 500 quid, and normal models way in excess of £1,000. But look at the staggering performance. They make the last generation look absolutely pathetic, and of course it hammers their value. Most PC or smartphones just a few years old are up for sale on eBay for a couple of £100. I bet you can't get £1,000 back for your old iPhone 12 anymore, can you? Yet that's what you paid for it. So we lost money on EVs. Big deal. Can anyone out there tell me a single car ever that they've made money on? No, not classic cars costing hundreds of thousands, but everyday cars. There isn't one. They all lose money. Fact. Just make sure you can afford it. Well, Tesla reported a record amount of spare cash in the bank, a simply mind-blowing 2.9 billion increase in spare cash in the bank in this one quarter, Q3. When other companies and automakers are losing money, Tesla is making more than it actually needs, possibly more than it can even spend, because the report states that it already has in the bank all the cash it needs for its current and future projects and expansions. Wow! People simply do not understand this in business. So, again, let me put that into context. Look back to that image I asked you to picture at the beginning. Your own house, no mortgage. You've also got enough cash in the bank to be able to sell up and move into your next dream home, still not have a mortgage, and still have a shed load of money left for anything else that you're thinking of doing any time in the future. It's simply stunning. It's unheard of, and certainly in any business. Their energy division, likewise, is now making record profits and seeing record production rates and sales with a massive backorder of megapacks. They now make 200 megapacks a week, each costing over £1 million and each achieving a record gross margin, far in excess of their cars. And the domestic Powerwall is also hitting record sales. Tesla's a car company? No, that's just a tiny part of it. Even if the cars stop selling tomorrow, we all, every single person in the world, still needs energy for the rest of our lives. Energy is a massive industry worldwide. Renewable energy was worth an estimated 1 trillion way back in 2022. It's projected to grow to nearly 4 trillion by 2030. It's a huge industry. Tesla's right up there as a renewable energy producer and a renewable energy product maker like solar panels. Yeah, Tesla runs its entire group of gigafactories and the entire worldwide supercharging network on 100% renewable energy, not by buying carbon credits or planting trees or paying poor Africans to use solar stoves, but by actually generating its own renewable energy, partly from the PV panels it makes and now owns, such as on the roofs of all their gigafactories. Giga Berlin, that ran on 100% renewable energy for the whole of 2023. No carbon credits bought. And before I get comments, roofs and roofs are equally acceptable terms. Neither is correct in the English language. Tesla designs, develops and builds its own batteries. The 4680, which this year hit over 100 million produced. It's a car company, we're told, yet it made 100 million batteries. It also this year will become the cheapest EV battery available in America. Imagine that. CATL, Panasonic, LG, Samsung, BYD all make batteries. Some of them make nothing else. But they all cost more than the Tesla 4680. Of course, Tesla can, and always does, buy batteries from other companies where needed. Tesla has announced it's not battery constrained for their current and future plans. Jumping to the end of the report, Elon was asked by members of the public various questions, and one of them was, when will the non-F full self-driving 25,000 Model 2 be launched? And he replied, it may never be launched at all. And you know what? When you look into this, and I have, that is one of the most exciting things he ever said. He might not make the Model 2. Wow, that's going to be the subject of a separate video. You need to watch that one. The main focus of this report was all to do with full self-driving and an AI. And they're reporting all sorts of things happening, and the markets have now finally reacted and Tesla shares jumped over 22% overnight. The market believes him this time. They've announced the full self-driving, which we've all seen. Just go on YouTube and type in full self-driving at Tesla. There's loads of videos. They're announcing that will be safer than human driving as early as Q2 2025, next year. And they believe that once it is safer than human driving, all states and federal governments in America will need to have them on their roads. They'll be much safer. They cause fewer accidents, fewer hospital admissions, fewer repairs for damaged roads and signs and building, etc. America runs over 500,000 government vehicles and does 1 billion miles a year. It buys 375 million gallons of petrol and diesel. It currently has drivers who regularly crash them into buildings, other cars, pedestrian. It costs them a fortune. Full self-driving, if it ever works, will be hugely desirable for companies and governments alike. Forget what you or I want. Full self-drive EVs will be the in thing. Take it or, well, there actually may be no choice at all. Tesla believes it'll have Robotaxis licensed and on the road earning money in both California and Texas by mid-2025, next year. Yeah, FSD and Robotaxis next year. What about cleaning and everything else? You're always the idiots out there. Tesla superchargers are going inductive. These are the drive over pads. You just drive over them, the cars will charge. They're already here. And of course, they now have robotic cleaning stations as well. The end of every ride, it'll go to the cleaning station, have a clean out. These things can all be solved. They're not things that are going to stop it. Now, I know you're all screaming that full self-drive will never happen at all. It's just a pipe dream. It's years away. And you could be right. So for now, I'm just going to agree with you. Full self-drive will never exist in my lifetime. Let's accept that. That's where the cost of goods sold is reducing year after year, this year to the lowest level ever. It makes the EVs cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to produce. Take for example Model 3 and Model Y. They're currently premium cars priced around 40,000. So now they can make them even cheaper. The price is going to carry on dropping from efficiencies down into the low 30k. Then they're already talking about releasing a totally budget version of it. So they're not making robotaxis, full self-drive doesn't exist, but what they're doing is they're putting all of their efforts into dropping further the cost of goods sold, making it cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to build cars. So if you then, instead of just using a reduction in the cost of manufacturing the cars, start taking out things that you don't normally find in a base model car that costs a lot of money. I'm talking about things like all Teslas have LED matrix lighting. Costs a fortune. I know, I've just had to replace a headlight on mine. 16 speaker premium hi-fi twin sub woofers and bass speaker. You don't get them in a basic Corsa, do you? How about heated rear seats and steering wheel? Again, not normally standard. Or how about a gaming standard 10-inch display for your kids in the rear that can actually play all of the current computer games that are on the Steam register? Removing these luxuries will further cut costs dramatically, as will installing smaller battery packs using their own cheaper 4680 batteries. Everything is bringing the cost down, down, down. So add that to the improved production techniques, like the latest one they haven't even implemented yet, the unbox system. That one is forecast to cut manufacturing costs by up to an additional 50%. Well, finally, following the We Robot event held at Disney Studios, we will sooner or later see Optimus humanoid robots appearing in their gigafactories. They're in others already, not just Tesla. They're beginning to take over some of the more simple tasks, and over time they will become more and more competent, and that will make a massive reduction in the existing labour costs. We could easily see in the very near future the cost of the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y stripped out down to the base model down below £30,000 or $30,000 if you're in the States. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Dave. If you have enjoyed this, please click the like button. If you would like to see more, then please subscribe. That will allow us to notify you every time we launch a video. And for anyone who wants to support the channel in a financial way, have a look at our Patreon page. There's lots of goodies available for people who support the channel financially. So a big shout out to all our existing Patreon members for supporting us. I'm Dave.